The music industry loves to call it empowerment, but too often it's just another demand in disguise. Get undressed or get irrelevant. From the moment a woman enters the pop world, she's told that her body isn't just part of her image, it is the image. Whether it's a record label executive, a stylist, or even her own fans, the message goes the same way across generations: show more or disappear. The sexualization of female performers isn't new. Madonna in the 1980s shocked audiences with lingerie on stage, but she controlled the narrative. Her sexuality was rebellion, a weapon. Yet what began as a statement of liberation became an industry standard. What was once shocking became required. If you're not selling sex, you're not selling anything. Hi guys, my name is Nana, and today we're gonna talk about the sexualization of female pop stars. I recently watched a performance by a girl group on a music festival. It really inspired me to do this video, make this video, okay? I'm still learning. It really made me think how deeply rooted this issue is in the music industry and how people are just calling it empowerment nowadays. Before watching this video, please put thumbs up so you don't forget later. Drink some tea, drink some coffee, or drink some water. Stay hydrated or stay cappuccinated. That's the rule. Without further ado, let's get right into it. If you're not selling sex, you're not selling anything. By the 2000s, the pop landscape had fully absorbed this expectation. Britney was packaged as a schoolgirl fantasy at just 17. Christina Aguilera was told to get dirty to stay competitive. Even Beyoncé, one of the most iconic artists alive, still faced commentary on her body over her art. The public called it confidence, the industry called it branding, but beneath it all, it was still the same transaction. Your body for attention, your image for longevity. Today, it's more complicated. Social media blurs the line between empowerment and exploitation until they look the same. Miley Cyrus was criticized for shedding her Disney image through hypersexual performances, yet when Billie Eilish wore oversized clothes to avoid their gaze, people sexualized her the moment she changed her style. The paradox is massive and brutal. Dress sexy, you're trying too hard. Dress modestly, you're boring. Either way, a woman's art is always filtered with how much skin we see. Labels and media perpetuate the idea that a woman's value declines with her youth, and that visibility in the market can only be bought with desirability. So-called reinvention of female pop stars is often just resexualization and showing more skin. Meanwhile, male artists can age, gain weight, change styles, and still be called icons. For women, the same shift is often called irrelevance, but women in pop are pushing back. They are rewriting what empowerment looks like. Taylor Swift exposed the industry's double standards in the man. Lizzo celebrates bodies that defy the narrow rules of desirability, even though she is being accused of using Ozempic for weight loss now. Sia hides her face entirely, forcing audience to focus on voice over visuals. But these are exceptions, not the rule. Unfortunately, they haven't changed the global reality of how female pop stars are expected to perform now. They are expected to show a polished version of sexual availability to stay relevant and go viral. And that brings us to today's focus. We are going to talk about BLACKPINK, Charlie XCX, Sabrina Carpenter. I can't pronounce her name, guys. I can't. Sabrina Carpenter. Oh, that's good. We're gonna talk about BLACKPINK, Charlie XCX, Sabrina Carpenter, and more. Now, let's talk about Sabrina herself. A lot of people describe her image as aesthetic, and I couldn't agree more. In fact, she's often a huge source of inspiration for me personally, especially because we're the same height, and it's refreshing to see a global pop icon who finally represents smaller girls in the industry. Thank you, God, 5 feet to be exact. But even with all my admiration, I can't help but having questions to what she does now. Specifically about some of her recent creative choices. Take her latest appearance on Saturday Night Live and her performance of Main Child.
Oh boy.
The visual concept was clearly designed to evoke a sense of teenagehood, bright pastel colors, playful choreography, and a bedroom-like set that felt straight out of 12 to 15 years old world. Now Sabrina is 26, fully grown adult, and of course she has the right to express herself however she wants. But there was something about that particular staging that made me deeply uncomfortable. It wasn't just the outfit though, it was revealing villain enough. Baby t-shirt and panties. Guys, we are not supposed to see that. It was a combination of her petite stature, the childlike aesthetics, and the provocative movement that created this tension. It felt as if I was watching something I wasn't supposed to see. And again, the whole concept is a girl having fun in her teenage years while we're seeing someone who's supposed to be teenager in that specific staging performing in panties, baby t-shirt. It really gives me all the wrong vibes. It reminded me of long-standing cultural trope of Lolita, both the novel and the archetype it created, where youth and sexuality are disturbingly similar for aesthetic appeal. Let's talk a bit more about Lolita now, because I think not everyone can understand the problem here. The term Lolita originates from Vladimir Nabokov's novel, which tells the story of a middle-aged man obsession with a 20-year-old girl named Dolores Hayes, whom he calls Lolita. While the book is a disturbing psychological study of manipulation and abuse, pop culture twisted its meaning into something dangerously romanticized, turning Lolita, a 12-year-old girl, into just an aesthetic of innocent but seductive. And I'm talking about really big problem here, because a lot of people till these days say that a 12-year-old girl seduced a middle-aged man. I don't know. I don't want this video to get banned, but the problem is still there. In my country, there are a lot of people who think that. I don't want to talk about it now. Let's just say the problem is there. This distortion has leaked heavily, especially in music industry. Over the years, several female pop stars have been associated with or criticized for using Lolita imagery. From Britney Spears' schoolgirl look and Baby One More Time, to Ariana Grande's baby voice and oversized clothing face, to Lana Del Rey's melancholic sad girl persona that often flirts with underage vulnerability. Even Sabrina's recent actions, we are gonna talk about it a bit later, but these actions still show that the problem is still there. Sabrina's recent cover album only deepened that discomfort. It's beautifully shot, but there is a problem with how submissiveness, innocence, and eroticism are deliberately fused together. I find myself kinda torn, because I truly like her as an artist. I like some of her songs, especially her visual aesthetic. We are not talking this aesthetic. I like this aesthetic, okay? Yet I can't ignore how her image lately is flirting with this disturbingly disgusting thing. Now, one of these disturbingly disgusting actions is this photo shoot. A year ago, Sabrina Carpenter released a new photo shoot clearly inspired by Lolita, and it immediately sparked a wave of criticism, rightfully so. What made it even more controversial is that Dominic Swain, the actress who played Lolita in a 1997 film adaptation, actually commented under the post saying, "Looks a little familiar." Sabrina later responded to the backlash by saying she has never seen the movie. A lot of people don't believe her, because it is a hard statement to believe that movie is really popular. Everyone knows about it. Everyone knows about the Lolita problem. So it's hard to believe Sabrina, because the Lolita references in that shoot were too specific, too recognizable to be coincidental. From the styling to the mood, it was a direct echo of a story rooted in manipulation and exploitation, but of course romanticized one. Okay, let's move on. When I saw Olivia Rodrigo's latest stage outfit, I was confused. When Olivia first appeared on the scene at the age of 17, she represented something refreshingly different. A teenage girl with a cracked voice, full of sincerity, heartbreak, and honesty. Her debut single, Driver's License, felt like a diary entry and not just a pop production. She wasn't sold as fantasy or spectacle, she was a feeling. Her entire sour era was built on raw emotion and her vulnerability, connecting with millions of young listeners who saw themselves in her. There was nothing hyper-styled about Olivia. Her fashion was simple, her makeup was kinda minimal in a way, and her message was clear: you could be messy and still be worthy of being heard. But as Olivia grew up, so did the expectations about her. The Guts era, her second album, marked a visible shift. The girl who once stood for teenage heartbreak began to enter the space of womanhood, and the world responded in the only way it knows, by watching her body. Suddenly, the commentary wasn't about songwriting vulnerability anymore, it was about the outfits, her body, body goals, body tea, her new confidence. When she stopped onto the stage in outfits that were shorter, bolder, and more openly sexual, the reactions were instant and polarized. Some celebrated it as empowerment, others felt uneasy seeing a transition that felt too sharp, too quick. As if the industry had decided that, Olivia, it's time for you to grow up in the most predictable, marketable way possible by undressing. Her recent stage looks, and especially this one, made me pause. I asked myself why I was questioning her choices when I don't question artists like Charli XCX, Dua Lipa, or Beyonce, who have been confidently expressing sexuality for years. Their stage wear is often even more revealing, but no one doubts their agency. Maybe the difference is in how Olivia's pop identity, her image, was built. She started as a girl next door, an emotional storyteller, a vulnerable teenage girl, not the provocateur. Seeing her shift so quickly into essential aesthetic feels less like evolution and more like the familiar choreography of the pop industry. The same system that tells every young woman, now it's time to grow up and here's what it looks like. And then I think about men. Male artists rarely face this kind of scrutiny or transformation. They can rise, age, and dominate charts without the need to show more of skin or perform seduction or be sexual on stage. Women, meanwhile, are still expected to renew their visibility through desirability, to remind the audience they are both talented and beautiful. It's not the cause of the problem, it's the result of it. Because men's bodies are not sexualized in that commodified, constant way. Even if we try to be fair, there is still a truth we can't deny. Society is trying to look at female bodies more to assign them more value. Maybe men don't have to undress because they never actually needed to. Their art was always already treated as the main attraction. For women, their art and the image are inseparable, and that's exactly how the system keeps them both on stage and under control. Now we're going to talk about BLACKPINK, and I think their situation is a bit different from most. When the group debuted, all four members were already adults and their image carried a hint of sophistication mixed with confidence from the very beginning. Their concept wasn't overly sexual, but it leaned on being cool, fierce, and subtly alluring, and again showing a bit more skin than most of the K-pop idols did at that time. However, things began to shift even more once BLACKPINK became a global phenomenon. During their 2022-2023 world tour, we started seeing a noticeable increase in the amount of skin shown on stage. It didn't feel forced, but it was clearly a new level of showing more. What is interesting though is that not all four members participated in that shift equally. Jennie and Lisa, who seemed more comfortable with those styles, naturally embraced them. Meanwhile, Rose and Jisoo seemed to be more comfortable with Thompson, more elegant. In their 2025 tour, the number of highly revealing outfits became even more noticeable, especially for Lisa. Among them, Lisa has probably faced the most discussion around sexualization. Her first solo debut, La Lisa, was fairly tame, but it was Money that truly sparked that conversation, especially for its choreography, which included twerking and other movements that are considered quite bold in the K-pop industry. She was 24 at that time and she seemed confident and in control of her image. From a strategic perspective, it worked. It appealed to Western audiences while simultaneously shocking traditional K-pop fans, where such performances are highly viewed as inappropriate or even taboo. Even before that, Lisa had performed Swola, a song known for its explicit lyrics, and in a case with Lisa, sensual choreography. It highlights how she navigated an extremely thin line between artistic expression and industry expectation. The hope, of course, is that she was comfortable with everything like that it was her own creative choice. Do I doubt it? Well, I don't know, honestly. What do you guys think? If there are any Blinks fans of BLACKPINK, let me know in the comments. Do you think this was her own choice, or was it just a marketing strategy forced on her by the company? So for BLACKPINK, sexuality has always been more of a control aesthetic than a defining trait. But even then we have the same question: how much of it is an actual creative choice? And how much of it is the industry silent demand to get undressed, to get relevant? When I first thought about making this video, it was after watching KATSEYE at Lollapalooza 2025.
Bubble gnarly, Tesla gnarly, gnarly, everything's gnarly, this song gnarly, oh my god, and you beard, oh my god, is this real, everything's gnarly, oh, what is such a snake.
That was the moment I realized how fast the industry moves when it comes to reshaping a girl group's image and how quickly innocence turned into marketable seduction. From the very beginning, KATSEYE had something fresh. Their debut styling was youthful, confident, and fun, almost teen-like in a natural way. There was nothing really sexual about it. It felt like watching a group of talented young girls simply enjoying their stage and their art. The music videos for Debut and Touch kept this energy. Sure, in Touch, some members already began to wear more revealing outfits, specifically Daniela and Megan, I think, but in general it was balanced, cute but polished, feminine but not objectifying. It was an expression of youth, not a performance of sexuality. Even in their early photo shoots, specifically the one posted on TikTok, everything looked great. The styling was cohesive, vibrant, and expressive without crossing into overexposure. But over time, things started to shift, and not just in their music, but in their representation as a group. With each live performance, the outfits got a little more revealing, the choreography a little more sensual, and the camera angles a little more focused on their bodies. And then came the Mama performance, the performance at Korean Music Awards. It was the moment things started to shift for KATSEYE. Their styling there was the turning point. See-through skirts and choreography that was far more suggestive than anything they'd done before. Though in my opinion, it wasn't really the choreography, it was the outfit that made the dance look a little uncomfortable. It was kinda a shocking contrast to the image they had built through Touch and Soft Astronomy, a sudden transformation from a girl next door charm to full-on Betty energy, and it was felt. That's why their performance got viral, especially in K-pop community, and even if you're not a K-pop fan, you may have seen it too. Gnarly became a viral moment, catapulting KATSEYE into global attention.
Oh my god, that new beat.
They went from a promising new girl group to an instantly recognizable name in both K-pop community and Western media. But success came with a cost, or rather a question. Why did this particular image change brought them so much attention? Because like so many before them, it relied on the oldest formula in pop. If you want attention, well, show more skin. It's easy to dismiss all the criticism by just saying they're growing up, they're getting confidence, and maybe they are. I truly hope they are, but the chance of it is really low. Well, to be honest, to be fair, the group seems comfortable. Minor member Yoonchia, who is gonna turn 18, as the minor, she is protected in terms of outfits, and the rest appear self-assured and in control of their performances, even though to me Megan seems quite uncomfortable with some outfits. Gabriella, for instance, transitioned from a teen Betty image to a darker, more mature aesthetic that openly embraces femininity and sensuality. The styling is intentional, the confidence seems real, and the audience loves it. There is nothing inherently wrong with that, but the bigger issue isn't whether the girls are comfortable, it's what the system rewards. Because objectively, KATSEYE started to get much more attention the moment they started to show more skin. Let's be real, the song itself would not bring them to the level they are at now today. The moment the concept turned overly sexual, the view dimensions and the engagement all skyrocketed, and that's when the media started calling them bold, confident, or empowered. But it leaves behind a troubling message that empowerment and visibility are still measured by how much of your body the audience gets to see. That confidence looks like exposure. That being taken seriously as a woman in pop means learning how to sell your sensuality early, even before you fully figured out what it means to you. And it hits specifically and especially hard when you realize that Megan is 1 year older than me. It's really strange and uncomfortable to imagine myself in that outfit on stage in front of millions of people doing that dances. It just doesn't feel right when an 18, 19-year-old is doing that on stage again in front of millions of people, and that is called empowerment and confidence. Now, this may be confidence, maybe they're confident, but I kinda don't think that it is. These outfits aren't even comfortable to dance in, and also they are so clearly designed to appeal to the gaze of adults. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, Yoonju, still a minor, is being prepared for that transition, slowly being integrated into a concept that is undeniably sexualized. It's like watching the industry set up the same cycle again, the one where girlhood becomes a temporary phase and womanhood is defined through desirability. And then there is Gabriella's dance practice video. The comments under it say everything. Admiration mixed with discomfort, because those are not shorts. This is practically underwear. And yes, they may look confident. What choice do they have? They're not gonna be like,
I'm not comfortable, Gabriella.
the styling choices blur the line between expression and exploitation, and it feels so worse every time we see their performance. It's not about shaming the girls, it's about questioning why the line keeps getting thinner and why it's always women who have to walk it. KATSEYE's journey from debut to gnarly mirrors the evolution we've seen across generation of pop stars. From Britney Spears to BLACKPINK, from Olivia Rodrigo to Sabrina Carpenter. It's the same narrative repeating itself but in new language. The idea is that to grow up, you must reveal. To evolve, you must seduce. To matter, you must perform femininity through the lens of desire. Basically, get undressed or get irrelevant. It works every time because it's designed to. And as much as we want to call it empowerment, sometimes it just feels like the same old story, repackaged for a new generation of girls who deserve so much more than being told their power lives in how much they can show. So what does it all tell us? From Sabrina Carpenter's Lolita-inspired aesthetic to KATSEYE shift from innocent to overly sexual styling, it's clear that the sexualization of female pop stars isn't just a coincidence or creative choice. It's a pattern deeply rooted in how industry markets women, rewarding them more for how they look than what they create. But the conversation shouldn't end with criticism, it should lead to awareness. Empowerment doesn't have to be exposure, and confidence isn't supposed to be proved by showing skin. Thank you guys for watching, and tell me what you think. Is this evolution of female pop style really freedom, or is it just another form of control dressed as empowerment? Also, do you believe the line between empowerment and sexualization can ever truly be clear in pop culture today? I think it's really hard, but yes. Guys, I'm truly so sorry for the lightning. It got really dark. Now, if you're like, wow, who is this girl? I mean, she's a slay. You can also watch these videos. I think I gotta go to gym. Oh my god. It's really vibey. Yeah, slay. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.
Ah.